Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Well, happy day after the eclipse, everyone. We hope that you had a wonderful day and that you got to see a little bit of the eclipse if you didn't make it out and about to let's see, northwestern Ohio to see the total thing. And still really, really cool what we got to see right here in our area. So we have a little tiny video from Jeremiah that we will play here in just a little bit. We also have some news with Pete Wilson, and we'll be getting to that in just a little bit as well. But we thought that we would start off the show this morning by showcasing some of the cool things that we've been doing at Total Media. A couple of new things, not new necessarily, but a little bit of an add-on is streaming the Jackson High School and some of the Piketon or Pike County baseball games. And also adding on to that, a brand new segment this year that they have been just started doing is some of the bass fishing teams here in our area in high school and broadcasting and streaming some of those tournaments. So really, really cool stuff going on here at Total Media. And we thought that maybe we would take a little bit of opportunity this morning before we get to the news to kind of showcase some of the things that you can see right here on Main Street TV. And also, Dylan, where are those streamed, the baseball games? On the Telegram or right here on Main Street TV? Do you know?
I believe that or the Total Media page.
Or Total Media page. Okay. All right. So, but you can see all of those, of course, broadcast by Dan and Pete, and really, really cool stuff. But we thought if you haven't gotten an opportunity to see our very, very talented Jackson Ironman, that we'd take a minute this morning and show you a little bit of one of the games that happened over the weekend and what you can tune into live here on Main Street TV if you want to watch those games. So you can listen on the radio or you can tune in streaming wise. So let's head to Jackson High School over the weekend and just show you a little taste of some of the cool things that we're doing right here at Total Media.
In foul territory, now strike two. Let's see how everybody plays it now.
Might have to change their philosophy.
You are allowed to bunt with two strikes, but a lot of times, of course, you don't, because if you foul it, it's going to be a strikeout. McGraw stays on the edge of the grass.
Steps
at
back
third.
a couple steps.
Here's your 2-2 pitch.
He was swinging.
Ball gets away from Ernst, but not far enough. Thought the runner might try to go, but he didn't. He's still over there at first base. The count goes full now to Caden Kahn. Big pitch coming up here. Wheelersburg has a runner on with nobody out and a 3-2 pitch to Kahn. You don't want to put that second runner on for sure. Here's your 3-2 pitch, and that is fly ball into left field. Nolan Johnson is over towards the line and got it in foul territory, it looked like to me. And the runner went halfway, and he is going to go back. So foul ball, I think the wind took that a little bit into foul territory there. And that is the first out of the inning, and that is a big one there, keeping that runner, that lead runner who got on at first base.
A lot of stuff going on there with the bunt attempts, the foul bunt attempts, the little play by the Ironman there, maybe trying to throw behind the first base runner there. That first out is big. Let's see if Wheelersburg wants to try to advance the runner with the one out already. a run would be precious in this game. Now, there's discussion there with the home plate umpire and the Wheelersburg coach. Mentioned something to Coach McGraw. It might be is this a new batter, Pete?
This is Isaac Bockway.
Bockway, yeah.
The designated hitter, just kind of a strategy talk there. Wanted to make sure that there isn't any miscommunication on what the Berg wants to try to do offensively here. May have another play where they're trying to get the runner over here with one out. There's the pitch, just a little bit high and inside, ball one. So far, Wheelersburg has shown no inclination to necessarily try to steal the base.
Not yet.
Ironman have not had a chance to steal a base. They haven't had a base runner yet. Here's your 1-0 pitch, and that is a hard grounder off the glove of Easton McGraw and into left field, and everybody is going to be safe.
Easton playing in right at the edge of the grass, and that was a rocket right at him. Glove got a touch of it, but could not bring it in, and now we got him on first and second and just one out.
All right, I'm going to call that a single, Dan.
I think so.
And, man, it was hit hard. It did hit Easton's glove down there, but, boy, it was a rocket shot. And went off the glove and too far away to have any play, and is in front of third base, and so the runner down there at first base, Colton Sayers, just goes to second and stops there. Here's Creed Warren, the number 8 hitter. He did strike out the first time. So Wheelersburg, for the first time, has 2 runners on base, and there is a pitch to Warren, and it's fouled away for strike one. We want to thank, Dan, the Jackson baseball program, Josh McGraw. They always welcome us, treat us real good. And we want to throw some props out also to the Jackson High School athletic director, Waylon Massey. He's been very
Do we have to?
Yeah, I think we need to do that.
We
a good
think
man
the world
there.
of Waylon. He's doing a heck of a job.
Very friendly, very welcoming.
Yes. Appreciate Waylon and his efforts there. How about the whole school system?
Giving us,
Howard, everybody giving us props there to be able to do this and bring the game to you, not only streaming it to you.
Giving us permission to do the game. That's not an automatic, and they've always allowed us to do it.
And appreciate your boss, our boss, I guess, Total Media in general, for taking on these challenges.
Right, and very glad to try to do the video streaming today. Curveball looked pretty good, but is called ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Dylan Adele and Hayden getting us on the air today.
Right, I tell you, it's a production team, I tell you.
It really is.
It's just you and I sitting here.
You got 2 non-tech savvy guys
Swing
here.
and a miss by Warren. You're right about that.
We need the assistance.
Right. If you come to a game and you look up at the press box, you'll see a bunch of computers and cameras and boards and like that, and I certainly don't know what to do with them. Here's your 1-2 pitch. Nice
Good
pitch called
curveball.
strike 3 to get Warren out, and that's a big one there with 2 runners on, and that's the out number 2, and Salyer stays at second, Brockway on at first, and now the Ironmen will try to get out of the inning if they can get by Rodney Watkins, and he did get a single his first time up.
As we've known through the year, Bodie's a gamer. He's a starting quarterback, starting guard for the basketball team, now starting in right field and pitching for this Ironman baseball team as a sophomore.
And he drops another lollipop curve in there for strike 1. Umpire was slow calling that a strike, and it kind of reflected the way that pitch was, but it was called a strike, a nice pitch. Another curveball in there. That looked really good, and no?
I think he thought that was low, but boy, it's a pretty curve coming at you, and that's a tough curve when you're a righty against the righty.
All right, 2 curveballs served up to Watkins. They both look good. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. A little bit low, ball 2, throw down to second. Is he safe? Just safe.
Oh, that was close.
Just got in there.
What a throw by Ernst. So quick getting that throw down there, and Ryan Simets kind of snuck in behind the runner, got the tag on him, but the runner barely gets back.
Count is 2 balls and 1 strike to Watkins. Wheelersburg has 2 runners on here in the scoreless game in the top of the 5th, but 2 outs.
First time a runner's been to second base.
Pitches high, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Top of the 5th inning, and think of that, Pete. Nobody's been to second till right now.
Yeah, they're out there right now, and the Ironmen need an out really big and a strike really big right now. Here's your 3-1 pitch. Called ball 4. That is the first walk of the game, believe it or not, here in the 5th inning, and that loads the bases.
Now we have the first runner to third base.
For Cameron Kahn, and he has put the ball on the ground both times. grounded to shortstop and hit into a double play to the second baseman Campbell. And he bats to the left side. There are 2 out, though. Pitch to Wolford. Called strike on that curveball.
Needless to say, the biggest moment in this contest, as we said, we're 0-0, top of the 5th inning, bases loaded, 2 outs.
Wolford steps off.
Easton McGraw doing a little bit of adjustment on his shoe over there. We got a quick timeout. Two of the top teams, I'm going to venture, in the southeastern part of the state, going head-to-head here. This first of 3.
Looked like a nice pitch. Did he swing?
They're wanting a call from the first base umpire, but they're not.
1 ball and 1 strike, I guess.
1-1.
Wolford to the stretch. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Bodie's got ahead of the count now with the 1 and 2. We got 2 strikes, 3 on, 2 outs.
Here's your 1-2 pitch from Bodie. And that's a ground ball. Bodie's got it. Over to first, and he
Nice
got
job.
out of the inning. Ironman get out of the inning there with the bases loaded. Ground ball to Wolford. Good throw to Jones over there. Out number 3. So in the inning for the Pirates, no runs. There was 1 base hit. There was no Jackson errors, and there was 3 runners left on base. In the middle of the 5th inning, it remains the Wheelersburg Pirates nothing and the Jackson Ironmen nothing. You're listening to Jackson Ironman Baseball on Fox Sports 1330 AM and 105.3 FM. There at
Very good. Very cool. So Dan and Pete getting to do some baseball over. Oh, see, that was Saturday, right?
That was Saturday, correct. First, it turned out that it was the first home game because of a postponement earlier in the week.
Aha.
Right.
It was kind of a cool day because you had 3 teams all playing each other throughout the day. So that was kind of neat. But unfortunately, Jackson went on to not come up on top of that game. But the second one they did.
Right. They lost to Wheelersburg 1-0. As a matter of fact, the Wheelersburg pitcher threw a no-hitter. Now,
Oh.
Jackson hit the ball, but it was always at somebody, and they caught it. All
Dang
right.
it.
That was the bottom line, that is simplistically put. And Wheelersburg was able to score a run in the next inning. I think the video there, the video clip that we saw ended in the 5th inning with the score tied 0-0. Wheelersburg put 1 run across in the 6th, and it held up for a 1-0 victory. And Wheelersburg has only lost 1 game. It was to a team from north of Columbus, and they are ranked, Wheelersburg, number 1 in the state in Division III by the Baseball Coaches Association. Now that's early, and it's a guess, but
That's saying something, though.
right, they are very good. I think the Ironmen, even though that loss put them at 3-3 because they lost 2 games at Myrtle Beach, then they beat Warren Local in the 3rd game on Saturday, 2-1. They are 4-3. I think they will go on. I'm putting the pressure on. I think they will go on and have an outstanding.
I think you're right.
Outstanding season. Played some very good teams so far, but it is so neat to have the video aspect to
Right?
the broadcast. Really puts pressure on the broadcasters because you can see what we're calling
You
there.
can't make it up, can you,
Right, we
Pete?
got to call it like radio though, because it's mainly a radio audience. But the addition of the video, thanks to Dylan Euler, Hayden Milligan, Adele Cruz, Rodney Tomlin's been in on that. It's wonderful for the sponsors and the fans as well. And we're going to continue that. The next game, by the way, will be tomorrow evening against Greenfield McLean. First pitch at 5 p.m. scheduled. And Greenfield Jackson game was supposed to be Monday, but you know why they didn't play that game? Mr. Solar Eclipse. It kind of changed our world there for a day.
It did, yeah.
Right, and that's what we're going to start with on the news, obviously. We're not going to have another solar eclipse for a long time, and so we needed to experience this one. Um,
Hayden, if you want to throw that video up while Pete's talking, we can
right,
do
go,
that.
go ahead and do
'Cause
that. And
Jeremiah did some really cool work there too.
right, we had a video live stream over several of our total media platforms
Yeah.
that started actually just a little bit after 2 o'clock. And if you didn't have the glasses and you were doing something else or you just didn't care, but you're watching now, this is kind of what it looked like. As it occurred, the solar eclipse. On the science side is where the moon passes across the sun, blocking
Yes.
all or a portion of the sun, depending on the totality of the eclipse where you are. Now, where we were, Jennifer, it was 96.8%. And as you can see there's not much of the sun left there.
It's got a little tiny sliver.
It's a sliver. And as you look there, if that's all you were doing, looking through the glasses, and you weren't, actually standing outside and you took the glasses off, I think it was a very different experience, because what I thought was, even with a 96.8% totality, I thought that it would be more like dusk, nearly dark here. And
Yes.
it wasn't, not at all.
It wasn't. It was an eerie feeling, though.
I mean, you could see it wasn't quite as bright, but the sunshine was still coming
It
through.
was still coming through. The thing that I thought was the most interesting was the temperature change.
Hmm.
Like, we were all standing outside of the tap room, and all of a sudden I got this like chill, and the wind got cool, and I was like, wow, it just dropped like 10 degrees. And then as it started to go the other way, you could feel, the warmth coming back.
Hmm.
It was just like that eerie feeling of, okay, this is a little bit weird. And it would have been really, really, really cool to, to be, of course, in the totality phase of it. I know, talking with a lot of people that were, they did experience darkness, and the street lights came on and like crazy stuff, in the middle of the day. It's pretty
Right.
wild.
Right. No, if you didn't have to go too far north, Columbus was nearly totality or totality. To the west and to the north, you were in total totality,
Yep.
if that's a word. But it certainly, and we know people who traveled there to see it.
Sure.
I talked to somebody who works in the hotels in Columbus, and they were all booked up
Oh
for
yeah.
people, who took a day off or whatever to see the eclipse.
So here's the weird thing, Pete, and I mean, I am very appreciative of it, but we had two different groups of people in yesterday to the brewery, that one had traveled from somewhere and one had traveled from like Michigan or something. I'm like, I'm so confused why, to Jackson, Ohio. No, one was from California or somewhere, to Jackson, Ohio to experience this. I don't know if they had family or what was the deal, but I'm like, seems to me like you would have just kept going to somewhere where you'd got to see the full thing. But I was very appreciative that they came in. But it was really wild that people travel so far, to get to see something like this.
Right. It was certainly something to experience. If you were interested in it, I feel sorry for those folks who didn't have the special viewing glasses,
Yeah.
because I noticed this. I know you're not supposed to look at the sun, and you're really coached on that before this.
Oh,
in case
yes.
you don't.
Well, you're never supposed to
But
stare at the sun.
but I did notice this. Taking a sideways glance, if you didn't have those glasses, you couldn't really see. At least I couldn't. I couldn't see where the eclipse was taking place. I couldn't see most of the sun blocked. When I took a sideways, it looked like it was all there.
Yeah.
And then
Agreed.
the lighting, the lighting that was coming from the sun, it looked almost normal to me. As a matter of fact, I will make the admission that if I didn't know that there was a solar eclipse and I didn't have the glasses and I walked outside, I wouldn't have known there was one.
There was one. And I agree with that. Other than it got like kind of
The temperature thing I didn't notice.
temperature, and then the it did get like almost like a giant haze outside or something. But yeah, I agree with you. You probably wouldn't have known anything was going on. So
But there was, of course, we had Maddie Allman and Josh Winters in here on Monday.
yes.
Well, and they had an eclipse party out there. I'm sure
Yes.
they talked about it here on Main Street
did.
TV yesterday. And we've got several pictures from that. If Hayden, you'll put them up. It was a very
Yes.
nice There are some of the kids looking
Super
at
good.
the eclipse. What a classic scene there. Um, the kids getting a chance to see the eclipse in a group, a nice social thing. They had there's a bigger group spread out there in
Awesome.
front of the extension office. They had what they call a solar eclipse party from 1 to
Yes.
3, and of course the eclipse, the main part of the eclipse, was in a period about a 15-minute period just after 3 o'clock to about 3:19. NASA said the height of the eclipse in Jackson County would have been at 3:12 p.m.
Okay.
But I didn't know this until Jeremiah was live streaming yesterday. It actually started at 1:55 p.m.
Yes.
and went all the way to I believe 4:26
Yep.
p.m. So I mean, there's Maddie there with a couple of the kids. They made it fun and they made it educational as well. I mean,
Totally.
Josh and Maddie are doing such a great job.
They are
out there.
awesome. Yeah.
Yes, they are, and we love it that that they use Total Media to help get the word out about what they're doing in the newspaper, here on Main Street TV, and they're on the radio too. So we
Yes.
certainly appreciate that. Doing a great job as rookies in the extension,
For sure. But just hit the ground running, man.
bringing some youthful enthusiasm and teaming up on things for obvious reasons. People that follow Facebook and know them well know that they got engaged just earlier
Yes.
this year, so that's special. What a team! But if you didn't see the eclipse yesterday and you actually want to see it or any part of it, we have posted our live streams. It's on different platforms.
Okay.
You can get it on the Telegram News. You can get it on Jeremiah Shaver, the Telegram News. That is his news Facebook page. Main Street TV. The Total Media YouTube page. There's YouTubers out there. We have that. And we even have it on the Telegram's Twitter account.
So there you
So-
go.
so
Any
lots-
number of ways.
Lots of places, to go see that. Obviously, we'll have some photos and some coverage in the paper as well.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of natural occurrences, last week, and we're going to talk about this. A lot of people know about it, but we haven't been on with the news since it happened. The National Weather Service determined that we had an EF2 tornado
Mhm.
in Liberty Township. Take a look at that
Holy
picture.
moly, look at that.
That is drone
Whoa.
footage, and that, I mean, instead of seeing a few trees down on the ground, this aerial photo from a drone from the Wellston Fire Department really gives you an idea of what hit out there in the woods.
How wide would that be, Pete?
Well,
Did they say?
I'm going to tell you
Okay.
I think we need to give a lot of credit to Robert Cheseski, our Jackson Emergency Management Agency director. He is a trained weather spotter, and of course, this is his job, emergency management. He knew when he looked at the damage himself that, hey, this was more than straight line winds or a microburst. He felt he was almost sure it was a small tornado. Based on, his trained eye, the National Weather Service, they're going around all over the place.
Right.
They came. It wasn't like, this tore through town or hit houses or whatever. It was as Robert said, in the middle of nowhere.
Thank goodness.
Right. But the National Weather Service came and determined it was an EF2 tornado. And of the ones that we've heard about, Proctorville, microburst. Hanging Rock around Ironton, microburst. Adams County, where there was a tornado, that was an EF1. This was an EF2.
So even more severe.
Yeah, I think there was an EF1 or 2 in Boyd County, Kentucky. But this might have been one of the biggest tornadoes, if not the biggest tornado in Ohio. And how lucky were we that it hit in the woods?
But this is why when people, kind of made fun of everybody for hunkering down and, kind of sheltering that evening, this is why, because that could have hit anywhere.
Right. And, here's the thing. The Weather Service does a great job. I mean, we knew way in advance that we could have something like this, but they do a tornado watch, which means the conditions are right. The time that they know that there's a tornado, unless it just stays on the ground for a long time, isn't very long.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. And they get the word out as quickly as possible. But there never was a tornado warning in Jackson County. There was one that was issued locally that did not turn out to be accurate. The conditions were right for it. And to be careful, they put that out because they thought there very well could be one.
Right.
This was in the Wellston area.
Yes.
But at that same time, about this same time, this was hitting up in Jackson Town or Liberty Township, not all that far away in the northern part of our county.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, how big? 115 miles per hour was
Okay.
the top winds.
Yikes.
It went 1.87 miles. Can you imagine going 1.87 miles, almost 2 miles, and not hitting a house?
No.
That's a long way to go. The width,
How
325
lucky are we?
yards.
Wait,
Three
the
football
width.
fields. 3 football fields plus the width.
Are you kidding? And it didn't hit any, like, just trees?
Okay, somewhere along the way, it snapped a lot of trees. It did damage. A house was damaged when a tree fell on it, not because the tornado itself hit a house, but a tree that fell hit the house.
Wow.
And now the tornado may not have been on the ground that whole time. It may have gone up, come back down, but that's how big it was, how wide it was, and
Whoa.
how long its path was. So that was something. I'll give a lot of credit not only to Robert here on our own staff, a lot of credit to Jeremiah Shaver. He's taken a weather spotting class, I think. He really watches the weather because of the things he does for us, online to get the word out quickly, and on our social media, our website, and later in the print edition. And he did some research. He follows the National Weather Service. He had this information out. We had it out as quickly as possible when the Weather Service made its determination. They actually came on Friday afternoon, and during the weekend, they made their determinations, and they posted a lot of information a day or two later. So, it is a fact that we did have an EF2 tornado. From the time, historical perspective, from the time that the National Weather Service has kept its records, which at least what the Charleston NWS says, it goes back to 1950. This is the biggest tornado to ever hit Jackson County.
Isn't that wild? And we didn't even know it happened.
No, we never even right at the time.
Wow.
Right at the time, we never even knew it happened. There was the second biggest tornado to touch down in the county. If you're interested in that, happened in southern Jackson County on June 2nd, 1980. It was an EF1 and was 150 yards wide, less than half of the size of this one. It was on the ground now for 11.5 miles, so it went for a while and tracked into Gallia County as well as Jackson County. There were no injuries or fatalities in that one, so that one was fortunate, sounds like to me, on the placement of where that tornado was. But we have all that information in Wednesday's edition of the paper, and we already have it posted on our website, thetelegrambnews.com. All right, some other hard news to tell you about that has just happened. Yesterday, in the early morning hours, a Jackson Highway Patrol trooper was involved in a crash.
Oh, no.
Where there was an injury involved. The trooper himself was injured. This occurred at 4:08 a.m. Monday at the intersection of eastbound U.S. Route 35 and State Route 32. That would be just outside Jackson.
Right.
What happened was Josh McCarty was the trooper involved in this. He was responding to an emergency call, had his emergency lights and siren activated. He was stopped at a stop sign at this intersection, and then a pickup truck driven by Eric L. Yates, age 57 of Wellston, lost control, ran into the cruiser. And I did see a picture of the cruiser, by the way. That wasn't released, so we couldn't use that, but I did see a picture. Substantial damage to the cruiser.
Okay.
Mr. McCarty, Trooper McCarty, suffered what were described by the Post as minor injuries. He was taken to Hoser Medical Center, Jackson Hospital.
Scary.
That accident is under investigation by the Highway Patrol. Also, another incident that occurred that was a little interesting. Now, this got a lot of attention on Facebook. We also have reported it in the paper. It will be in our Saturday or in our Wednesday print edition. We already have it online because of the timing of when we got the information. But a deer bolted through a window of a residence on Hardscrapple Road, which is in, there it is. The deer jumped right through that window there, broke the window. This was at the residence of Brianna LeMay at 1678 Hardscrapple Road. That is a Wellston address, but it is in the country, so to speak, in Cole Township, closer to Colton, I think, than Wellston. But the deer entered the home. Family members were home then. This was in the evening, about
That would be a surprise,
Well,
wouldn't it?
I mean, it was reported 8:51 p.m., so this occurred, just after dark, when the deer are active, but it went through a bedroom window. And here's the problem. Once it entered the home, it's freaking out.
Yes.
The deer began to violently run from wall to wall, knocked over toys, household items, breaking doors, busting holes in the walls, jumped over two of the people that were in the house.
Oh, he was so scared.
The deer was injured, left a blood trail throughout the home, exited
no.
through a front door that happened to be propped open. They did look for the deer to see, if it were hurt or injured somewhere, or even if it would, died, and they could not find it. But it had been injured. In the house, the deer jumped over an adult and a small child. Brianna LeMay, who is the owner of the household, she had marks on her arms and face due to being stepped on by the deer. No other injuries were reported. So, I mean, that could have been a whole lot worse.
That is insane.
Well, we've heard about, deers maybe, going through windows. It doesn't happen very often. But in this case, I mean, it could have been really bad.
Yeah.
But that story, once again, we'll have in our Wednesday paper as well, and already posted online. Also, on the fire department front, Jeremiah Shaver was on the scene of a fire last Friday afternoon on Mariah Road. This is not too far from Oak Hill. This was the Carol Phillips residence at 3516 Mariah Road. That would be east of the village. And Carol was at home at the time. This was a fire that started in the kitchen from cooking. She was able to get out of the house uninjured. They did check her out. EMS checked her out at the scene. If you saw the house from the outside, you wouldn't necessarily know there was a fire, but there was substantial damage in the kitchen, and the fire did go upward into the attic area.
Oh.
So there was substantial damage inside the home. But as we said, fortunately, Carol was not injured. It appeared from what I had been able to learn, I talked to the fire chief, and I also saw some posts from other residents who were commenting on this incident. It looks like the Madison Jefferson Fire Department, with the support of the Jackson Fire Department, the Bloomfield Fire Department, and the Centerville Fire Department, did a very good job getting that fire out. It was a double wide home, and had to come several miles to get there, and they were able to keep the fire itself out of the rest of the home.
Okay.
There may have been other damage in the home because of smoke and water and so forth, but that one certainly could have been worse as well. All right, we do have a little bit of resolution to the situation involving Colton Fire Chief Johnny Baker.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Baker, of course, we had reported earlier, had been charged in United States District Court with one count of mail fraud in connection with the alleged embezzlement of $226,000 plus and change of fire department funds, not village funds. That was different. Want to make that clear. This was the funds that the firefighters have in their nonprofit account from their pull tab gaming operation, and they do bingo too. So I think it's all maybe in one account, but the pull tabs are supposedly where they've been able to make a lot of money for the fire department. Well, Johnny, over a period from 2020 to sometime in 2023, accused of having a separate account where he was putting some of this money and then tapping that account to buy things for himself. He was in for a plea hearing on last Thursday, and during that hearing, he offered a guilty plea, and the judge ordered him to pay $226,000 in restitution, which was the amount he allegedly embezzled. Now, mail fraud is a federal crime that is punishable up to 20 years. Sentencing on the prison term end will be determined by the court in a future hearing. So It's not quite over with yet, but Baker, once again, did plead guilty there to that count of mail fraud. So mail fraud, embezzlement, what's the connection? What the court or the United States District Attorney chose to do, since it's such a serious charge, mail fraud, that's what they went with. they charged him with mail fraud because one of the items that he happened to buy that they used for the prosecution was
Mhm.
something he got through
Through
the
the
mail.
mail.
Right. So he knowingly used the mail to steal. So that's a serious thing.
Yep.
All right, a couple other things to tell you about. I do want to go to a news story that is about us, if I could. But it was a great day for the Telegram and Total Media at the Fellowship Day of the Ohio News Media Association. You're looking at a picture of some of us who were at the Fellowship Day. It was up in Westerville at the Big
Yes.
Quest Conference Center. And for the second year in a row, Jennifer, we are just so thrilled. The Telegram in its division, which was Division B, which is mid-size weekly paper, we won the Newspaper of the Year award.
Yay!
So I want to salute the people who went up there. Cora Willett, she's not in the picture. She is the president of Total Media. She took the picture. It's a good one. She did the best she could with the material she had. And
It's amazing.
right, and also there was the chief financial officer of our company here, for all of our companies here in the Stockmeister companies, and that, of course, is Kay Howe. But from the left, as you look at the picture, we're standing up there very proud. Alex Shope, myself, Pete Wilson. Then you have Monica Nieport, who is the executive director of the Ohio News Media Association. Jana Collier, who is the board president. Then you have Red Thompson Jr. and on the end, Jeremiah Shaver. There were other people, who allowed us to win this award, who helped us win this award, who were not there. Todd Compton, our sports editor. Brock Netter, who was formerly on our staff, wrote sports. Also not in attendance was our two graphic designers who won design awards. That would be Andy Hudnall and also Christina Graves. And then our advertising department won first place, and that goes to all the salesmen who are involved in selling Telegram ads. Joel Walton, Chris Henry, and Derek McManus are the main folks there that do that. And so just a great day for the Telegram. We want to tell you about some of the awards. There were 20 categories, and we placed in 16 of them.
Wow.
We were first place. The second place paper in our division was the Georgetown News Democrat. But some of the awards that we won, we're very proud of these. Usually we're not in the news, so just bear with us on this. We won first place in news coverage. We've done that several years in a row now. There isn't a single category that you want to win more than that one.
Of course.
We had third place through best news story, which was a story about a standoff involving Brandon Denny. That was co-written by Pete Wilson and Jeremiah Shaver. We were first place in in-depth reporting, and that was for a series of how many articles? A bunch of articles on the William Beach situation. Happened out there on Jisco West Road, where the officer involved shooting where Mr. Beach was killed.
Yes.
A lot of coverage from that, and we won first place in in-depth reporting. We won first place in Best Local Profile. That was for a story by Pete Wilson on the late Bob Rice. We won third place by Red Thompson Jr. for Best Local Profile through his story about Janelle McManus, who was leaving the Vinton County Health Department.
Mm-hmm.
It was a toast to her and all that she did for Vinton County before she was fortunate enough to be named the health commissioner in Ross County, which is where she is right now. For original columns, Pete Wilson got second place and Red Thompson Jr. got third place. For best editorial, Pete Wilson got third place for his editorial tribute to the late Ryan Foster, who the EMS leader in Jackson County, who died at such an early age. For sports coverage, our sports coverage team won third place. That would be Todd Compton, Red Thompson Jr., and Brock Netter. This involved 3 different sports sections that we had to give them. They looked at all 3, and we ended up third place there. For best sports feature, first place, combined award, there was a 2-piece story about Holzapfel, Jason Holzapfel, who ran in the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
Todd wrote a story before he went. I wrote a story after he went. Of course, he did do very well in the Boston Marathon. And this 2-part story won first place for best sports feature. Brock Netter won second place for a sports feature about about Ethan Crabtree and his great story, his great comeback story after his serious
Yes.
injury and coming back to be a kicker to gain great acclaim in high
Sure.
school and be recruited college and get a college scholarship, of course, in Virginia, Wise College, I think it is, in Virginia. So then for newspaper design, we won second place for overall newspaper design. That's just not one paper. That is looking at 3 papers for our overall design front page all the way through. So that is Andy Hudnall, Christina Graves, and we'll throw Todd Compston in there because Todd is the only person on the regular news staff that paginates his pages. Paginate is the technical newspaper word for designing a page electronically on the
Right.
computer. All right, and then for best page design, that is looking at a certain page in particular. Andy Hudnall and Christina Graves, they always work as a team. They won second place for our layout on Hometown Christmas. That's where we had some pictures from all the Christmas celebrations on the front page, and then it spilled over to an inside page. Looked very nice, and they won second place for that.
Okay.
Our advertising, sales, and graphics design staff won first place in advertising. That is a very important one. The sales staff, which is, of course, Joel Walton, Derek McManus, and Chris Henry, they're on the sales side. You know, they have something to do with not only selling the ad, but maybe working with the client on the look of the ad. But then the graphic staff, and that again would be Andy Hudnall and Christina Graves, they have to create the ad electronically, you know, actually make it look good, produce it. So it's kind of a team thing on advertising on the sales end and on the design end. So congratulations to them. We won 2 awards for photos. No, 3 awards for photos. For Best News Photo, Jeremiah Shaver won second place for his picture of, do you remember when the lineman from Buckeye Rural was killed
I do.
while working to restore electricity after a storm down in
Yes.
Lawrence County? He had local connections, and they ran through Jackson County, and all the electric trucks from far away came
Yeah.
away with the cross ladders. And that picture that Jeremiah took won second place for Best News Photo. Jeremiah also won second place for Best Feature Photo, and that was one that I really liked. It's one that you're not going to get very often. Remember when they fired the cannon up at Wellston for the sesquicentennial? Well,
we were praying it didn't blow up.
Right. Jeremiah Shaver got the picture. You can see the cannon firing. You can see people covering their ears. And the judge on that said, boy, what city has a cannon? That is just cool. As cool as this close-up photos. Kudos to the photographer who got this close to the cannon. I wonder if he wore earplugs. Jeremiah was he had good equipment, but he was pretty close there.
Yes.
And that was the second place photo. The first place sports photo was also from the Telegram, and it was by Todd Compston.
Okay.
And he should really maybe copy his certificate and give a copy to Cade Wooford, because it was a picture of Jackson running back Cade Wooford jumping way up in the air over another player in a playoff game.
Nice.
Of course, Cade ends up, he's going to be going to Kent State next year.
Yes.
He led the Ironmen to a great season, you know, as the running back, and Todd was along the sidelines and got him. I mean, it was like a high hurdler going over this player. The judges were very impressed with that photo, and Todd needs to give a major assist to Cade because it wasn't Todd jumping, it was Cade jumping, but Todd did capture that. Okay, we're very proud of this one, Jennifer. Best headline, there's 3 awards for best headline, first, second, and third place. We won all 3.
Whoa.
All 3. Pete Wilson won first place for a headline, Jackson citizens can barely contain themselves. That was a story about how Jackson and the Jackson area reacted to the black bear that came through. And we spelled barely, we spelled barely B-E-A-R-L-Y rather than B-A-R-L-E-Y, actually. So a play on words there got us that one. A play on words also got Alex Shope second place in that category. It was a story about the Robin's Nest Cafe with new ownership. His headline was Robin's Nest Cafe and Tea Room settles in Main Street branches. So kind of like a metaphor on the birdies. And then third place, Pete Wilson won for this headline, employee accused of serving more than just tacos. That was a result of a
Yeah.
story from Taco Bell. Do you
Yes,
remember
I
what was
remember
being
that.
served there?
It was meth, wasn't
It
it?
was meth, right? And they asked up there when they announced that the announcer when they gave us the awards, I says, I wonder what they were serving. I didn't speak up and say methamphetamine.
You should
I
have.
probably should have said that, but the judge knew because they read the cut line and
Yeah.
everything. So that wasn't a play on words, but kind of like a black comedy angle
Yeah.
to that story. And I will say that when we wrote that story, that did get a lot of attention. People not believing, that you could walk up to the counter or through the drive-through and in the
For
bag
sure.
are some illegal drugs.
Like, how do you pull that whole thing off? That
Right.
was.
Well, I do remember you were supposed to get food as well to make
Yes.
it a legit purchase.
Yes.
And what the young lady got for the extra things in the bag, that part I don't know. All right, for special edition or section, first place again, another first place. This went to our 2-part sports preview in the fall. We do a football preview, but we also do a fall sports preview. A lot of papers may do a football preview, but they don't do the fall sports. We do
Right.
both of them back to back, and that has always been able to place for us. And that once again goes to Todd Compton, Red Thompson Jr., and Brock Netter. They were the ones who did the work on that. And you add up all the points, and it adds up to the best newspaper of the year. Because you take all 20 categories, and like I say, we placed in 16 to 20 categories. It's a point system. So many through a first place, so many through a second place, so many through a third place. There are more points weighted for 3 categories: news coverage, advertising, and overall design.
Okay.
And so you get more points for those for both first, second, and third place. But when you add them all up, the paper that gets the most points is named the newspaper of the year. And we have now won that back to back, and we have won it going back to when the New Telegram started under the new ownership here with Total Media. Before it was called Total Media.
Sure.
Here at under the Stockmeister companies, we have now won that award 7 times. So
That's saying something, Pete.
right. Well, we're very happy about that. And the only thing that I can say is I want to credit a number of people for that. Obviously, the staff that does the work, and we're talking just not the newspaper. We're talking about the salespeople. We're talking about the design people. But it's not only time on task, but it's a little bit of talent there as well.
Oh, for
and
sure.
it's a little bit of good fortune too, because everybody is putting their best stuff up there in this contest, and we don't take it for granted that we're going to do this well. We don't expect to do this well. We want to do well, but this is unexpected, to be honest with you. We want to thank the ownership, because if the ownership isn't willing to pay the people to do the work,
Right.
to have the paper. And frankly, it's not been good for newspapers for more than 10 years
Yes.
because of the way the world has become, the way communications has become. A lot of things are electronic. There's information available electronically. Social media is big on different social media platforms. You have to go lots of different places to get information. What I always try to say, Jennifer, and I guess I'm not a good enough salesman, is the newspaper is your one-stop Facebook page. You don't have to float on that phone or that computer all over the place to get information, because for the most part, I think people are kind of like surfing, like they are on the internet, to see what's going on.
Mhm.
But we take pride in doing the best we can, and it's certainly not perfect, far from perfect, getting the news, the local news from Jackson and Vinton counties out there as quickly as we can.
Well, you
out there.
guys do such an amazing job, and
Right.
you're everywhere.
Well, we do the best we can. And
I don't know how a small staff is everywhere, but you are.
Right. And the ownership,
Excuse me.
the ownership has been where it's been tough. Lots of places, newspapers have closed, newspapers have cut back. We've had to make some cuts too, but we're still here. We have a larger staff than some other newspapers in our size. I don't forget that. We thank the public because if the public didn't support us to the degree that they are through subscriptions and advertising, we wouldn't be here either. We have to have something coming in, and we do have something coming in. We would like for it to be more. We urge you that if you're not a subscriber to the newspaper, that you do it. It's going to cost a fraction of what your phone costs you, what your phone contracts cost you, and people don't understand this, and it's almost useless to say. A lot of people just think that information should be free. Well, the phone companies aren't giving you a free phone contract. They're not giving you a free phone.
Correct.
And even on free TV, that's supported by commercials, so indirectly you're paying for it.
Yes.
And so for a very nominal cost, about $50 a year, you can get a print subscription. And coming with that is your online subscription to your website.
Absolutely.
And that is part of it. So you can say that that's free. And if you want just the website, it's a little bit less because that doesn't cost us as much because we don't have the printing costs. So, we'd like for you to give us a try. We put a lot of our stories on Facebook. A lot of them are behind the paywall, but you can kind of see them out there, what they are. You can see the headline, read the first paragraph. If you haven't done that, it gives you a idea of maybe what you're missing out there.
Sure.
But we try to cover Jackson and Vinton counties news, the community, sports, the best that we can. And I'm proud of everybody that is involved with the Telegram and throughout the whole building, because indirectly we're all part of the team, and we certainly appreciate having the chance to talk about the news on Main Street TV.
Well, absolutely. It's certainly a service to the community, we hope, and that's what we're here for, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. Okay, a couple other things that we want to talk about. There were pinwheel plantings yesterday in Jackson County, and I think there was one in Vinton County this morning.
Yes.
But it's all part of a national observation. National Child Abuse Prevention Month is April.
It's not a good pinwheel planting.
No, it's not. But it is to tell you, it is to remind you. Yeah, it is kind of bittersweet. It is to remind you not only that there's people out there trying to do something about often the hidden problem of child abuse, but it's to let you know that it may be more prevalent than you know. If it's not in your family or you're not aware of a situation in your neighborhood or through school or whatever, this is a serious problem, child abuse. And the Jackson County Department of Job and Family Services and the same agencies, throughout the state in different counties, plant the pinwheels as a symbolic reminder of child abuse. They're in Manpower Park in Jackson. They're at the City Building in Oak Hill, or in Wellston. They're at the Village Building in Oak Hill, and I think they're gonna be, if they aren't already, in front of the courthouse in Vinton County. So that's what those blue pinwheels mean.
Absolutely, and as you said, it's to raise awareness. So if you drive by and you see that, don't stick your head in the sand. Realize that those are symbols of a child that has suffered abuse throughout the year.
No, absolutely.
And not cool.
Right. Okay. And some other things that are going on. Say this real quick, because it does affect a number of people in Jackson. The city of Jackson has declared a boil order for a neighborhood on the west side of town.
Uh-oh.
This went into effect yesterday, and it will remain in effect until further notice. And it's out there on Facebook. A lot of people may not see it. We've got it posted. It will be on the radio as well. But it's for water customers in Jackson on Orange Street from David Avenue to Bennett Avenue, on Star Street from Orange Street to South Street, and on High Street from Orange Street to South Street.
Okay.
And it's in connection with some water system repairs that are taking place. It's just down the street from me, so I see it. A lot of work taking place on Orange Street, and it is a result in the necessity for a boil order.
Okay.
So that is taking place right now. Also, we want to remind you that the Open Rail Bluegrass Band, very popular, will be
They're
at
awesome.
the Marquette Cultural Arts Center this Saturday, April the 13th. Tickets are still available. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m. The concert will begin at 7. Pre-sale tickets cost only $15. That's a pretty good price for a concert of the caliber that Open Rail will give you. If you wait until Saturday, there'll probably still be tickets, but they'll cost you $2 more, $17.
Okay.
You can visit the website,
They're such great deals.
marquetickets.org, or call the box office to pre-order tickets. And any time that the Marquette may be open for an event, if there's somebody in the box office, I know that they'll be glad to sell tickets to you.
Yes.
So speaking of the arts, we always try to give props to the kids that do the high school plays. Not too long ago, the Vinton County High School Viking Players, that's their drama group under Joy Henderson, did Phantom of the Opera. That's a big
did.
undertaking. That is a musical.
Man, that's a tough one.
And there is Brooklyn Burns on the left and Ashton Allman on the right. And Ashton, by the way, is the younger brother of Maddie Allman.
Oh, okay.
All right, she is so proud of him. Now,
Yeah.
how many big burly football players, and he's got a Division I football scholarship, would be willing to go on the stage?
Not many.
You know,
That's awesome.
right. He loves the music though, and loves the drama, and he has been in the place for several years. She kind of passed that love of that to him, and now he has embraced it, and she is proud of him for that. But Ashton is going to Campbell College, Campbell University, in one of the Carolinas, and he also played the starring role in the musical. We have some pictures that are going to be in our Wednesday edition of the Telegram.
Very cool.
On the sports side, besides the Jackson baseball video and broadcast, remember we've got one tomorrow. We want to congratulate a baseball player up Wellston Way, Logan
Hayden.
Martin.
Hayden.
Logan is a senior at Wellston High School, and he has signed a letter of intent to play baseball at the University of Rio Grande. Todd Compton was there when the signing ceremony took place last week.
Super cool.
That is Logan right in the middle, the third one over on the right, sitting down. He has the papers in front of him to sign. He is flanked by his parents and his sister. And on the back row, you've got Coach Morgan Stevens, and you've also got the Rio Grande coach, Brad Wormelnot, down there at Rio Grande. And Logan has been a pitcher and catcher for Wellston High School. Of course, they've got a season going on right now. They're doing pretty good, and he has a whole lot to do with it. Coach Brad down at Rio thinks that at the collegiate level, Logan is going to be a very important catcher for him.
Awesome.
So he can pitch, though, but his college position will probably be catcher. Obviously, if you're a pitcher, you've got a good arm. You need a good arm when you're the catcher. So we got a lot going on. Look forward to our Wednesday paper. Jennifer, some of the things we've talked about have already been in the paper.
Mhm.
We have some that we have talked about today that will be in the paper, including the eclipse information.
Very, very cool. And then I don't know that we had the chance to talk about it, but I know we aired it here on the program last week. But the the Apple Festival Queen contest. We have so many of the fairs and festivals coming up as well. So keep your eyes and ears open for all of those contests and different fairs and festivals that are getting ready to start. It's just right around the corner, Pete.
Right. We didn't talk about it today because we want to give it its due. We don't have all of our editorial work done on it. But the Jackson County Fair Queens contest was held last
That's
Saturday.
right. Yeah.
Right. And I will give you a spoiler alert if you haven't heard. Natalie Allison is the new Jackson County Fair Queen. But they did pick first and second attendance and grade level attendance, a Little Miss and Little Mister. We'll have pictures galore maybe to show you later in the week.
Yep.
And they'll be in
All
the
this
edition
stuff.
of the paper. But we didn't want the eclipse coverage to eclipse the county fair stuff. So we want to make sure that
That's
we
fair.
yes, thank you. Okay, that is so quick. I can see why you've got to where you are. Being a
We're so
a
funny,
big
aren't
time
we?
TV show host and craft beer creator.
Right.
But anyway, we'll cover that a little bit later in the week. Yeah, there is so much happening. Of course, I believe coming up not this weekend, but maybe the next weekend, they'll have the big contest for the Wild Turkey Festival, Queens Contest. Now
That's
they do
right.
it a little differently. They have a great contest. I mean, they go to great. It's a great production, their
Oh.
contest, but they don't tell you who is the finalist or anything, let alone who the queen is. They make you wait until the Turkey
You
Festival,
have to
the
wait.
first full weekend in May. So we'll be telling you a whole lot more about what's happening there as
That's
well.
right. So much fun stuff. That's spring is great because all of this stuff is starting to really get going, and we'll have so much fun things to talk about. So, and congratulations once again on all of your awards.
Thank you very much.
Well deserved.
We do appreciate it. Thank you, Jennifer.
Of course. And we're so proud of the Telegram and all the staff here at Total Media. They do such an amazing job. So, all right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. I believe our special guest on the program tomorrow is Phil Howard, superintendent of the Jackson City Schools. And hopefully we can find out what's going on in that direction.
Well, I tell you, that's well timed because a lot of the news that comes out of the schools is announced or it kind of surfaces at school board meetings. There's one tonight.
Aha!
So I do know for a fact there'll be some important news. There always is. April is usually a big meeting for school boards because that is the month where on the personnel side, if people are leaving the district or maybe even getting hired, it happens in April because you don't want to wait till the summer to finalize that. There always is some of that, but there's a lot of personnel things that happen in April, comings and goings. And I think, we'll maybe learn about some of those tonight and then on Main Street TV tomorrow. So tune in.
There you go. All kind of information. So, all right. Well, have a wonderful day, everyone. We thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll be right back here tomorrow with Superintendent Phil Howard. Bye-bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegram.news.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegram.news.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegram.news.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegram.news.com.
Check it out.